Welcome to the CEO Story, brought to you by KC Chauhan, founder of Together CFO, where every week we're interviewing the top CEOs in various industries, sharing their journey and extracting the top things that made them successful. Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the CEO podcast. And we've got a double header today. We've got Sam and Shayna of Liquidvida Lounge. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, guys. How are you doing?
Everything's good.
Thank you for having us.
No, it's been a pleasure. So can we start with, firstly, a little bit about what Liquidvida Lounge is, and then we can get into the CEO story after that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Liquidvida Lounge is a health and wellness center. We specialize in IV vitamin therapy, where we deliver nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids directly into the bloodstream, and people get 100% absorption. We target several different personas, people that are recovering from living an active lifestyle, working out, always out and about. We also have other things to boost up your immune system, like our natural defense IV drip. And then a few other type of services and modalities to help out after a long night, if you're hungover, alongside with things to help with like neural function. Helps with mental clarity, mental focus, etc. Alongside with our IV drips, we have other services and modalities that complement our IV services. Everything from hormone optimization, medical weight loss, and aesthetics. We do everything from the Botox, the fillers, the PRPs. On our regenerative medicine side, we do a lot of peptides, and we also utilize some of the exosomes, which then that converts between both of those. We also focus on sexual health for our older individuals to optimize their sexual health. So full comprehensive wellness center. We try to get a good bird's eye view with our patients by doing a comprehensive blood analysis, looking at hormone imbalances, looking at a lot of your typical things that your general practitioner looks at, plus more, meaning we're looking at micronutrients deficiencies. We're looking at autoimmune issues. We're looking at toxins that you potentially have gotten exposed to, like heavy metals, and then other type of genetic testing as well.
Fantastic. It sounds like you've got a great menu of things, and I love how progressive and forward-thinking it is in terms of trying to get things before they become a real issue.
Yeah, we always try to take more of a preventative, proactive approach to medicine versus what we're used to here in the United States, which is more of a reactive medicine approach. So we try to find the issues before they become serious issues.
No, that's fantastic. And we can see some fantastic firefighting gear in the background there. Can you tell us a little bit about how that all started and then how you eventually came and created Liquidvida Lounge?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always been into the whole rescue world of saving people, and growing up as a kid, Rescue 911 was one of my favorite TV shows. Anything that was the trauma scenes in the ER. So I kind of had it in my head that I was always into helping people in these type of emergency situations. So when I had the opportunity as a kid to dive into that, I became a lifeguard I got certified when I was 14 years old, started working as a lifeguard when I was 15, and, progressed from there to becoming an aquatics supervisor, aquatics coordinator with the YMCA, in charge of training and doing in-services for over 40 different lifeguards. And I just knew I wanted to take it to the next step, to actually do some emergency rescue work with some of the government agencies. So that's when, once I graduated high school, I decided to go into paramedic school and also the fire academy. Became a state licensed firefighter paramedic. And by age 20, I started working with Oakland Park Fire Rescue in Broward County here in South Florida. And I did a total of 12 years. And recently, roughly about a year ago, I retired from Oakland Park Fire Rescue, which, these things led me to the opportunities of what I have today. We're opening up our first business, which was Rescue 101, and then leading towards our medical business with my medical background, which is Liquidvida Lounge.
So let's start there in terms of when you were a firefighter. I'm sure most people are aware that there's irregular shift patterns involved there.
Right.
It gave you a little bit of extra time to then utilize and make the most of, and you can kind of go one of two ways. Can we dig into a little bit more of that? Because I think that kind of goes into your entrepreneurial spirit rather than just sitting around wasting all the money.
Yeah. So, part of that is I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, how you say is, and I always wanted to help people, but at the same time help people and do something with the business side of it as well too, which the fire department, allowed me to help people, but I really couldn't do the business part at the fire department. So that's where now with Liquidvida I'm doing both. But going back to the shift schedule, what allowed this to happen while I was working at the fire department is that we have a unique schedule where we work 24 hours on and we're off for 48 hours. So you have two options as a firefighter. You're either going to spend all the money that you make as a firefighter on those 2 days off, or you're going to go find a side hustle and make more money. So I decided to go that route with my entrepreneurial background, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start doing a little side hustle, and which one thing went to another, from one small side hustle to now we have this organization with close to 100 employees and distribution outlets, etc.
That's fantastic.
Somebody who can just sit still and hang out. He always has to have 100 things going on. So.
I think it's a very common trend with entrepreneurs and successful people. So can we talk a little bit now about working together as a couple? Because I think this is a very unique point and complement each other really well in that aspect. How did that first start, and was it always so good from the beginning?
We met in high school, and we were two completely different individuals. I was a C average student, class clown, couldn't keep quiet. And, she was the very smart girl that just had all the answers to every test. So once we graduated high school, we met in high school. Our last month of high school, we went to prom together, and we just clicked. And, a couple years after high school, when I was working at the YMCA, I ventured into my first business, which was health, safety, and risk prevention, doing a lot of CPR and first aid trainings for different organizations, training the majority of lifeguards here in South Florida. And once I started that business, I just knew that what I excelled at was the hustle for business, the building relationships, communicating, being the talkative guy that I am. That was my forte. And in my head, I said, the person who should be dealing with the financials and the administrative part should probably be the smart person in the relationship here. And that's where I kind of didn't give her much of a choice. I went to, Sam's Club or BJ's, one of these places, and I bought one of these CD-ROMs of QuickBooks. And I came home and I gave her this CD-ROM for QuickBooks, and I said, hey, you need to learn this thing. And she said, what? I said, yeah, you need to learn this, and so we can, do things properly with the business. She took it, she learned it, and now she's like a guru with all these accounting systems. I mean, that's her background, accounting and finance.
I love it. I love the whole American dream and like the prom and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So now let's fast forward from that into life today as you see it. You've grown your business, the second business, from zero to a considerable amount right now, multiple locations, multiple staff, and still going strong together as a team. You haven't killed each other yet, so that's fantastic. How does that work in the office? Do you just split and segregate the duties, finance, operations, marketing, sales, and kind of do that separately, or are you working together hand in hand a lot as well?
We work separately a lot. A lot of things that fall on his plate and my plate are completely different. He probably couldn't tell you a whole lot about what my full day consists of and vice versa, right? But then we have our projects that we have to actually sit and go over together, go over numbers, looking at budgets and, whatever projects come up. But a lot of the things that we work on that we just sit and do on a day-to-day basis is separate. And we've gotten, as far as our working relationship, we've gotten better. It wasn't, it's not perfect right from the get-go. It's a hard, thing to balance and learn. And
what are some of the things that you guys did to make that learning curve better and like be able to work around each other and be more efficient rather than, there's kind of the home life and then there's a work life, right? So
yes.
how do you keep it? So
I think it's the important part is to be able to understand the difference between the two, and having enough respect for each other when one person has to be a little bit firm and direct and the other person not take it personal, because sometimes,
we butt heads and we clash about things. We can have an argument about something with the business, and then we just, honestly, the way that I deal with it is we'll stop talking. And then 2 hours later, I'll pop back into the room and say, okay, so what do you want for dinner? So, because now it's separate, now, so you can disagree because you're going to have disagreements in business, that it would be foolish to think otherwise. And we disagree about something. We'll either solve it right then and then it's fine, or we might be a little mad at each other, but that's not our personal life. That's business. Right. And then at the end of the day, we're husband and wife, and that has to come before being business partners.
Yeah, I think
and sometimes we just like at our personal life, because we love to talk business, so we'll go out to dinner and we're talking business and all this other stuff. And recently, it's gotten more like, okay, let's just not talk business. Let's go out for a nice bike ride and listen to jam to some music, and not talk anything business.
Yeah.
So, which we have the ability to do that. We have a on and off switch, that we know how to control very well.
Got it. I think. Is that echoing for you?
No echo.
Let's just be on my side. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense in order to be able to have an off switch, keep it separate, keep it focused while it's at work, and that when it's at home and it's personal life, that's fine. Enjoy that side of it, because that's really important to kind of be able to switch off, rejuvenate, feel good, and then go back in the office the next day and figure out what went wrong and how to fix all the multiple issues that you get. So let's fast forward a little bit and kind of change direction. So talking about the organization, the culture, and creating a workplace that's expanding, how do you control the organization as it's growing so quickly?
Well, you make several mistakes along the way and learn from them. But it comes with putting the right people in place. So having the right managers and layers of people is really what makes all of the difference, because you have to have people that you can trust to help, manage the group of employees at each location. People management is definitely the hardest thing about owning a business by far, right? Wouldn't you?
I would say so, absolutely.
It's a very difficult thing. So to manage them, the growth of it, you have to have people that you can trust. And I think that trust is the biggest thing. You can find people with skills, but you need to find people that you trust with your business to make decisions, to value what you value as a person and a company, and to, basically carry that on.
And part of that is developing that high-performing team, to have those team leaders to help you build that positive culture within your organization. And that culture that you develop is all based off of the owners, their vision. So as long as your leadership team that's bringing it to your district managers, to your location managers, to all of the other leaders within every individual location, as long as they understand what our vision is of what the culture should be, and they can express it amongst the rest of the team, then you can build that high performing team with that great culture that is extremely important in your organization.
So you touched on kind of communicating and making sure that they understand. So what are some of the key things that you guys do to help really the staff and the team understand what the way you want it to be?
Well, number one thing is training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to have in-service trainings. You have to have team huddles on a frequent basis. You know, you have more of these type of gatherings and meetings on a micro level between each individual location. But then we also do it on more of the larger side of it, which then on a quarterly basis, we do trainings that are led by our corporate team. And we bring all of our practitioners, our managers, our wellness coordinators, so then we can go ahead and touch on certain points, so they understand which direction we're going as a company.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And this year, and it's unfortunate we haven't been able to do it yet, but one of our goals this year was to actually do quarterly get-togethers, not a training, but something completely outside of that, and doing like a field day at a park or going kayaking, going bowling, something like that. Because we pretty much always do a year-end party, and we thought, you know what, we should do things quarterly so that we can all get together, maybe do some team building things, and just try to get people just to have a little bit of fun, and just to get to be together, and let's, you know, celebrate us all growing and you know, all working together for this long. And unfortunately, we decided that in December, like, okay,
Right.
we're going to make this a thing now. And then COVID hit and we haven't been able to do that, but it's still in the plan, because we'd like to make that more team. You know, we want everybody
Yeah, I
to
think
feel like this is family.
fantastic. It makes a lot of sense. So we do it
Yeah.
twice a year, summertime and wintertime.
Yeah.
So to do it quarterly is actually really good. And what we found it builds is that culture and deeper relationships, rather than, hey, how you doing? How was your weekend type thing. It's actually, people get to know each other a lot better, and then the families and the kids and so on. And it kind of makes that superficial friendship into kind of a real friendship.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So it definitely helps. So that's fantastic. And then what are some of the future goals that you guys are looking to achieve with Liquidvida Lounge?
Well, one of the things, and this is kind of touching back on our conversation we were just having, and part of our future goals with it is the larger our business grows, because we're opening up additional locations, and now we're actually opening up locations out of state as well, is that the more people we have within the organization, what ends up happening is the company kind of becomes this faceless company. You know, when we first started it, it was, you know, mom and pops, it's small, everyone knows each other, everyone has a lot of respect for the work, the sweat, tears, blood that we put into this business. But as it gets greater, and you don't really have the time as CEO, CFO to actually interact with all of these employees, you know, that respect level, it diminishes. Almost people start to feel like they're just a number, and that's where then you start having certain employees that try to take advantage of the company, because they have no kind of sympathy
company.
to it.
It's not people, though.
Right.
And that's
it kind of loses that family spirit.
Yeah. So for us is I've had something that's called, since I started the business, I said I always want the culture to have what I call the Liquidvida family. So part of our future plan, some of our goals are to do more of these things to connect and build these relationships with the employees, because obviously our employees are our biggest asset as an organization, and be able to make sure that they're not looking at the organization as a faceless company. Like, there are some really important people that are putting a lot of time and effort to create this to what it is.
Yeah, so they get to really know us and what we value, and what we want for them. You know, I want a good working environment for the staff. You don't want people, you don't want people just putting in, sweat, working 80 hours a week, and that's not what you want. You want a good environment for them, and you want them to know us.
Right.
So
I think it's key. It's one of those points, and we get this with a lot of our clients when they get to a tipping point of, hey, we were just a small mom and pop family, and our business was me and my husband or our two kids, just a small tight knit group, and then it exploded, and it's like, wow, where did this come from? How do we do it? And how do we retain the essence of what made us what we are without losing that, but enable everyone to know those core values and those core beliefs of what you really want that culture to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, there's a tool that we use in a lot of the companies that we deal with called EOS, and that helps a lot with expanding companies. And there's a really good book out there. I'm going to send you guys it so you can read it. But that's helped me, and it's helped a lot of my clients as well. So I think big shout out to Gino Wickman on EOS, because it's a great book. But yeah, that's a great segue. And if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
If they want to reach out to us, they can reach both of us at info@liquidvidalounge.com, or our personal emails, which is sam@liquidvidalounge.com, and then Shayna's is shayna@liquidvidalounge.com.
And then I'll also leave the website just below there so people can click on it and find a location closest to them. Sam and Shayna, thank you so much for your time. You've been fantastic. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.